Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back again doing your mid-May 2015 monthly tarot horoscope. This is for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in the lovely Aquarius. And just as an update, guys, I'm going to be back using this my main Shadowscapes deck by Stephanie Pre-Moon Law, and I just want you guys to know that for the next couple of months, I'm going to be doing most of my videos with this deck. I may bring back some of my other decks, or maybe even a new deck. I haven't decided yet. But for the most part, it's going to be more consistent now, because I really just, I think wanted to share the new decks because I was so excited about them. But I feel like a lot of people really like the Shadowscapes deck, the main one that I use. So I think I'm going to go with that for right now. I know a lot of people want me to do the sex and relationships videos, and I may do those in the future. It's not decided or just indefinite yet what I'm going to be doing there. But so anyways, this is for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius, and for mid-May. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the first 2 weeks in May have been kind of a rough and rocky ride. And I think Aquarius is because it's a very fast, Aquarians are very fast moving. They like to kind of like get like things done. And Taurus is so slow. It's like plot and plan and things, so there may be some frustration with some of you Aquarians that has kind of gone on the beginning of May, and I'm hoping that the last part, hoping the spread shows a little bit better end of May for you guys, because me included, because it's been kind of just a rocky, I'd say, start to May. Or start to the spring, and for that matter, everybody said how great this year was going to be for Aquarians, and to me, it's been a rough start for the year, I feel. But let's just see what you guys get. So I'm just going to roll it out here. Okay, so it looks like you have a lot going on, Aquarius. The first card, I'm just going to start in the beginning, okay? So the first card that you guys get is actually, it doesn't exist in most other decks. This is the Ten of Swords, but it's the Ten of Swords in reverse. And you can see the image. You can see this girl who's hanging by a thread by the moon. She's hanging by the moon. Her dress is caught on the moon. And that's how I see it, okay? She's just hanging by this little thread. And in the upright position, that my Ten of Swords means feeling unloved and unsupported. Feeling like, there's nobody there for you. In the reverse position, it's all about kind of going through like what you might call like the dark night of the soul. Some of you may be going through your 29 Saturn return. Every 9 years, the Saturn does this crazy cycle, and when Saturn comes back around, it really kicks everybody in the ass. So those of you usually between the ages of 26, I say, and 33, or 26 and 32, you may have been going through this Saturn return. And I personally am just coming out of it. I'm 33. I'm just coming out of it, and things are starting to change. But to me, it's a period of 7 years of intense struggle, intense strife, feeling like you don't really know what to do. Maybe going through periods of intense change, sudden breakups, sudden divorces, sudden moves, things happening where, everything that you do feels kind of like you're working twice as hard to get it. So it's like a job that you're working really hard to get, or finances that you're really working hard to kind of improve upon. That's the feeling. It's a tough time. It's a time of. It's kind of, because it has the moon in here, it makes me think of the moon card. There's this element of the moon which can be very dark, can be very intense. It's a period of, I guess I'm getting, my guide is saying, intense emotional and mental strain, okay? So some of you may be going through this time where you feel like an intense strain or drain on your energies, but it's not because of you per se, and it's not necessarily because of other people. It's just because it's like you're going through a phase. You know, my younger brother used to hate it when I used to say, you're going through a phase. You know, it's a phase that you're going through, and I've said this before, I think, in other videos, that's a period that's supposed to make you kind of get in touch with your emotions, and sort out some things that have been maybe brewing for a time. This is when it all kind of like finally, this is to me the final flush before the show. It's a quote from, I think it's Big D and the Kids Table. I don't know, there's a band called Big D and the Kids Table. I think it was them. It might not have been them. It might have been a different ska band. I don't remember which one it was now. It might have been Virgin City. I have to go back through my crazy old ska. I used to listen to a lot of ska music, and I have to go back through my albums to see, you know. But anyways, it's to me, it's this final flush out of emotions, or of releasing negative energy, negative demons. This is you being free from the haters and the bitches. This is you being free from your past. This is you kind of coming to final terms with your past. And I'm getting a tingle on this. That means like you are really saying to, you know, basically in a way, over it. She's over the moon here. She's over the moon, but in a different kind of way. Okay, she's over the moon and she's hanging there, and she's free from her past that's been taking pieces of her for so long. So it's like, for so long, you Aquarius may have had, you know, some tears in your aura, or you may have had a very draining relationship, or you may have had a series of draining relationships, or you may have had a series of life events, which, whether it's illness, or whether it's job loss, or whatever it is, a sequence of events that's kind of been collectively kind of draining your energy, you know, one after the other. It's like, okay, a relationship comes in and then takes a piece of your energy, and you're stuck with, you know, the leftover, feeling like shit. And then like you go into another relationship and they take another piece, and you just continue to feel more and more like shit. And so it's just like, eventually, this is the point in time where you are like free of that. You're no longer going to either allow it, or you're no longer going to be going through a phase where that's all that you're dealing with. It's like, there's this quote, I don't know why I'm getting all these crazy movies, but it's like there's a Robin Hood with Uma Thurman. Okay, it's an old movie. It was like an early film of hers, but basically, at the end, the priest says, "Welcome to hell." They finally kill the bad guy, and he's like, "Welcome to hell," you know. And it's, I don't want to say welcome to hell, but that it's kind of been like, you know, that's how it's been for you this whole time. It's been like 7 years of welcome to hell, you know, whatever your name is, and you've been going through, what I call hell, where it's like every relationship, every job, every move, every situation that you're in has felt like hell. And now that is over. Now that is done. Now you're able to move on and let it go and say, you know what? That's over. That's done. Moving on, you know? Next phase, please, you know? And I'll take some ice cream with that, you know, kind of thing. That's kind of where you're at. You know, some of you are going bungee jumping, okay? Very select few of you. If you are, message me. I want to hear about this. This is also being saved at the last moment, where things just at the last moment turn around for good. So somebody helps you out. Somebody helps you out at the last moment when you're not expecting it and jumps in and says, you know what? I'm going to help you. I want to help you. I think you're great. Let me help you. And they just kind of fix whatever it is that needs to be done, whether it's coming over and fixing your toilet or the electric, or whether it's somebody who's giving you a ride. Some of you may be getting a ride somewhere. It's just something where it might be very small to something maybe very big. You know, what's coming to me is, you know, some of you may be going through some legal stuff and you may be kind of helped out at the last minute with it. Or it may kind of turn in your favor at the last minute. Where it kind of seems like all is lost, you know, and you're basically about to give up on it, you know, because she is so drained, okay, that she's about to give up. And some of you are in a place of, you may call extreme depression. Some of you just maybe, and I feel like some of you are really struggling. And you may be in a place where you are so over it, because to me this is all about being over it, over the moon, over the haters, over the bitches, over the ex schmucks. It's over it, that you're so, in a way, it's like this is being very low. Even though she's hanging just a few, she's hanging just a few inches above the ground. See, because here she's fallen off this cliff. She's fallen off this cliff and she's falling. She's falling. And just before she hits the ground, her dress catches on the moon, and there's only a few inches before her head hits the ground. Okay, 3 feet, whatever. So to me, it's a low point. Okay, it's a low point. It's a time where you feel like shit. So maybe right now, some of you have felt like absolute shit. And you can't really see how things are going to go because you're just kind of hanging there. You're just kind of hanging in there by a little thread. You're just kind of like, some of you may have lost your will to live. Some of you may feel like just like fucking it, you know? And, you know, I will tell you, I'm not a grief counselor by any means, and there are people and there are crisis hotlines and whatever that you can call that I definitely recommend for you to do if you're this person, okay? But this can be extreme grief, extreme sadness, extreme emotions. To me, this is just, but it's a release more than anything, okay? It's a release, it's a relief. That it's over in a way, because the main word for this card is, for you guys anyway, is over. I feel like there's something that's coming to an end, this phase or this point in time that's coming to an end for you. And in a way, things are going to significantly change for you. That's how I see it. You do have some other negative cards, which I do want to talk about, okay? The first being is that you do have the devil crossing you. And I feel like you guys have gotten this card several times, several months in a row. And I'm not sure if that's because the situation's staying the same, the energy's staying the same, or whether similar people are watching my videos, or maybe just that the devil is still in your life in some way. To me, the devil is someone who has an addiction problem, someone who has an alcohol problem, someone who has taken your heart and you've given it to them, and they're holding on to it. You've given them too much in a way. You've given them power, because your hearts, they're greedy. See, they're greedy. See, the devil is the 7 deadly sins. Okay, greed and lust and temptation, and it's all that stuff. And your heart should be in your chest. He shouldn't have your heart. So in a way, you've given it to him. But he's not worthy of it, because a good person, someone who's really good, should know that the heart does, he cannot keep your heart. Your heart has to be back inside. Now this sounds very like Once Upon a Time, and that show Once Upon a Time, which I always quote. It sounds very much like that, because they're always taking the heart out and doing crazy things with it. But for you to be coming out of this phase of what I consider to be like a dark period, a dark phase, okay, where it's been gruesome, it's been a tragedy, it's been a crazy fest, it's been hell, and literally you're still dealing with the devil, though. So to me, this is a tough time, and this has been a tough time. This is a tough time. For some of you, it's your husband. For some of you, it's a partner. For some of it's just being tempted by sex, or being tempted by someone who's in a relationship. Some of you, it's not a person. Some of you, it's that. See, in my old deck, the devil was all about that little whisper in your ear that says, that little devil that says, you're never going to make it. You're never going to find a relationship. You're never going to be anything. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You're never da-da-da-da-da-da. You're going to be alone forever. Da-da-da-da. And it's sort of like the devil is there taunting you. Okay, so it's sort of like you're hanging here. You're hanging here, and you're like, I'm just hanging out. Like, just leave me the fuck alone. Okay, I'm done. Okay, you're like, I'm done, right? And you've got this devil here whispering, okay, making you feel like you're in here, making you feel like you're trapped, making you feel like you're stuck, just taunting you and torturing you, and you're just kind of hanging there, and he's going, you're never going to get out of this. No one's ever going to cut you down. You don't deserve to be cut down. You just deserve to just stay there and rot, Like, that's the devil, right? That's the devil. And this is all, this obviously isn't the truth. The truth is that everyone is worthy of love no matter what. You, Aquarius, are worthy of love no matter what you do, okay? So no matter what little thing you have going on, or whatever doubts you have, the truth is that you're going to be okay. You're going to get through this. You're going to win. I feel like but you have to, like, in a way, ignore the devil. Ignore your temptations or your own issues about maybe your own addictions, or maybe your own, I'm getting the word frustration. But to me, this is an outside influence, because in a way, I just see you as kind of just hanging there. Some of you Aquariuses, the male Aquariuses, you may know someone. So if you're a male, you may know someone who's going through this dark night of the soul kind of thing, this period of their life. Or you may be that person as well, okay? Guys as well can be going through this period of time, this hellish period of time. But you may know somebody who's going through that, and there may be some element of temptation there, whether you're married, whether you have a partner. Some of you just may be drawn to this person. But the word temptation is going on. There's a lot of temptation, okay? Now, you have, as a foundation, you have this fear card, okay? And I always tell people, fear is actually one of the easiest things to overcome, okay? People don't realize this. It's very simple. It's as easy as saying, I'm not afraid. I'm not. And be over it. That's it. You know, getting rid of that negativity is important. Some of you need to call me to do some cord cutting or to have a session regarding cord cutting. I am still doing cord cutting sessions. The way I do my cord cutting sessions is I do the first hour where we go through the tarot, we go through relationships that may have cord of attachment issues, and then I analyze them, and then the last half hour I do actually the healing work if it needs to be done. Some people have contacted me and my guides have said no, the angels have said no, and if that's the case, very rarely, but it does happen, we use the rest of the time to do more questions if you were to have that. So it's a 90-minute session. It's $100, and for the cord cutting tarot combo. Okay, some of you need to be, because the fear. Okay, so the person that's looking up, it's sort of just like male Aquariuses. Okay, male Aquariuses. It's like in the distant past, you were afraid. Maybe you were afraid that this was going to come to pass, you know, that you were going to fail in some way. Maybe you have an extreme fear of failure. And female Aquarius is too, okay? Same thing. You may, Aquarius is in general, both male and female, you may have a fear of failing, or a fear of getting hurt, or a fear of that nobody's there for you. Feeling like you're going to be left all alone to deal with life on your own and nobody's there, and feeling like, you know, maybe, you know, you don't deserve to have people there. Or maybe, you know, you've been through a period of time where you felt that maybe people weren't there for you. And then in this past, that made you afraid that you were going to be all alone. That you were always going to be either without a partner, or without love, or without support, or without people there to really give you a leg up, okay? I feel like there's a strong fear of failure, okay? Strong fear of being alone, okay? Aquarians are they can be very lonely. They can get very lonely. So this is a fear of being alone. This is a fear of not having anybody there. And what he's also looking at is fear of being entrapped. Maybe it's a fear of not just failing or being alone, but it's at the same time the fear of getting into a relationship and getting stuck. And it's like claustrophobia. It's like, so on the one hand, you don't want to be alone, Aquarius. On the other hand, you're afraid of, you're really afraid of being alone, but you're more afraid of being in a relationship. So you're afraid of both. You're afraid of being alone, you're afraid of being in a relationship. Because you're afraid to get stuck. Because you're afraid maybe you have a marriage and what it's going to mean, and the rules and restrictions, and you don't want to be restricted. So to me, it's like a double-edged sword. Maybe you want a relationship, but you can't have one yet because you have to overcome this fear of being alone, but at the same time, fear of being in a relationship. So you have in the recent past, hang on just a second, the computer is being weird for a moment. In the recent past, you have the Death card. And anytime this card comes up, this card to me represents transition, okay? Going through a transition. Things not being the same. Things changing, boom, boom, boom. It's kind of what I was talking about. How, you know, maybe you're not the same person that you used to be, okay? Not at all, because to me, the death cards in my deck is all about a new start. It's a victory card. It's a rising to victory. It's overcoming, overcoming everything. You know, whether it's a financial issue or whether it's a job issue. You know, this is overcoming things. A rising to victory. So interesting, of course. You have all this stuff kind of going on. You do have a little cluster of negativity, I will tell you. Okay. But what's crowning you is you have the waiting card, okay? And to me, it's the card about needing to work on your diet, or maybe some of you are working on your diet. This is needing to eat more fruits and vegetables. But this is also about waiting for the harvest. There's something that you're waiting on, okay? It's a timing thing, okay? You know, this card is all about, it's, you know, waiting for the time to pluck the fruit, waiting for the time when the fruit is ripe. You can't, it's not going to serve you to pluck the fruit if it's not ripe, because you can't eat it. So it behooves you, Aquarius, to be patient. This is needing to have patience for things to kind of develop. Things take time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay, so it's so funny because I was talking about in the beginning of this video how, you know, maybe you're frustrated because now we're in Taurus and it's like everything's slowing down, and it's making like this whole like time seem to like move so slowly, you know, and that's why right now this is what's crowning you mid-May. This is part of the issue, okay, part of your issue, one of your issues. And in the immediate future, you have the Eight of Swords. And I typically call this, I've been calling this the Karma card. Okay? Everybody else's deck may be different, but mine, it's the Karma card. Okay? It's about feeling stuck and restricted and having, and it's because of karma, having negative things happen because of karma. Some of you are, in soon-to-be future, going to either, A, you're stuck in a situation or with a person that's, or maybe just feeling like you can't, maybe just, I feel like the word restricted, make the changes in your life necessary due to some circumstantial issues, and that's the karma, okay? That's karma. That's kind of you're dealing with. For those of you who it may not be karma. It may just be where you feel like it's gonna suck no matter what you do, and you need to change your attitude. You need to be calm. You need to be patient. It's weird because you have the patience card, and then you have this card where the swan needs to remain calm. So the bird can help her out, or him, out of her issue. She's stuck. She's caught in this briar patch, right? And the bird is going to come by and it's going to help her. But until the bird stops struggling, the swan stops struggling, the bird cannot come and make the necessary changes. So you have, to me, two cards about needing patience here. And two cards about feeling restricted. One is the fear about being restricted, and the other is about maybe actually being restricted by circumstances. And there is some negativity that's still kind of going on in the background, okay? Some of you may have a negative family. Some of you may have some negative people around you. There's some negativity that you're going to have to deal with in the immediate future that isn't to your liking, okay? That's not to your liking. Because not only does she feel like she's stuck, but she's getting sent this negativity, this dark cloud of negativity by somebody else, by another person. I see it as an old crone, so it's an older female. Doesn't necessarily mean it's somebody who's really old. It could be actually a male as well. It can go either way, an older female, the crone, or just like an older male that's that's negative, because to me, it can be a male. I'm getting an uncle, perhaps. For some of you, it's your mom. For some of you, it's an uncle. For some of you, it's a relative. Like a cousin or something like that. There's some energy that's coming towards you from the outside. That's not good for you. Okay, it's sort of like in a way, you're afraid that you're going to be alone. You're afraid that you're going to be trapped. And in a way, you are trapped, but not because of the way you're of a relationship. Some of you are in a relationship that is trapping you, but some of you are trapped by circumstances. It's not just the relationship. But the problem here is that you on the one hand, you're free from the demons and you're done with your own shit, but you still have to deal with a little bit of this other people's shit. So it's like you kind of just came through a phase where it's like, okay, you're done with your dark night of the soul, where your journey, you're starting. It's like it's the darkest before the dawn. So it's just before the dawn, okay? And it's weird because we have the Phoenix card, which is in the recent past, which is transition. So it's sort of like you're about to transition. In the recent past, yes, it was there, but it was like that little spark of the fire, but now it's like a blazing fire, and you're about to just go through. Basically, you're coming through the fire. And you're transitioning from the dark night of the soul to something better, something so much bigger, something so much better. But you're still feeling like, what's the point? What's the point of all this? Why the fuck am I doing this? Why the fuck am I here? All this stuff is going through your brain. Part of it is because you're letting, that's like a demon that you're letting go. You're releasing it. You're saying, you're just, in a way, you're voicing it finally. Some of you may be crying a lot. Some of you may be just very angry. Some of you may like get into more arguments or fights more. It's just the kind of thing where you feel it's like a combustible situation where you're just like everything's about to combust. But then after the forest fire, all this new growth starts to happen. So to me, it's a really beautiful time. It's a beautiful time. You may not see it as being a beautiful time, but it's going to be a beautiful time. And along with the negativity, you have it's affecting your emotional state. It's funny because I didn't even really address this card, and this is the card in position of emotions. It's very straightforward. This, as you can see, it's a girl, and you may be a guy as well. Okay, so to me, it's a girl here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's only female Aquariuses that are feeling this way. Male Aquariuses, you may be feeling just very sad, very lonely, and emotional. Just like she is crying her eyes out. She's just like, she's just feeling really, really sad. She may be depressed. Some of you, again, like I said, you're going through a period of intense emotional, mental strain. Some of you are very depressed. Some of you are only suffering mild depression, but it may come in like waves. Like I said, it's like this final wave of depression almost. It's like a wave of depression, but then once you kind of release it, you're done with it. And I always say that this is the Miss Lonely Hearts card, or Mr. Lonely Hearts card, where you're lonely. You're feeling like you're never going to be in a relationship. You're worried that you're never going to be in a relationship, And the truth is that love is there for her. There is love out there, okay? So, the good news is that you do have, Aquarius, the final 3 cards to me is like your saving grace, okay? So whether this is the end of May or beginning of June, whether this happens, then that's kind of the time frame, okay? You have the Hermit card, okay? Now the Hermit card is, you know, classic in the sense that, you know, the Hermit's notorious for just kind of needing to kind of process things, going through a time of introspection, looking back on things. But in this reading, the Hermit card is right next to the Mr. Right card. Okay. And now the Mr. Right card can be a Taurus, Capricorn, Aquarius, Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, potentially even a Virgo male, okay? I don't know why I'm feeling the Virgo today, but this can be also their ascendant, okay? So it can be their sun sign or their ascendant. Again, Taurus, Cap, Virgo, Aries, Sag, Leo. But primarily the Taurus, Cap, or Sag. Sorry, Taurus, Cap, or Aries, or Sag, would be the main ones for this guy. But this is Mr. Right. So it doesn't have to be, like, if I don't name the sign that he is, this is Mr. Right, okay? And this is in the position of, you know, this is what you're looking for. And I feel like you're going to meet him because, and I feel like I feel like you're probably going to marry him. This is a proposal. This is, to me, it's very straightforward. You have the Mr. Right card here and I think of the Hermit card as the engagement card because you can see there's a ring here, and that's a ring. It looks like a ring, right? In a way, this is the diamond, you know. It's shining brightly here. So it's to me, at the end of May, Aquarius, you may meet Mr. Right. Could be beginning of June, also very early June. Okay, but it's soon. It's exciting, you know, because this is a really great card. This is a card, for some of you, this may not be Mr. Right. For some of you, it is. For those of you who are single ladies, this is Mr. Right. But if it's not Mr. Right, if you don't meet Mr. Right, the King of Pentacles is an amazing card in itself. Because to me, the King of Pentacles is having the Midas touch. This is absolute success. Everything you do turns to gold. You having a lot of money, okay? Or making a lot of money, or, you know, this is getting a new job, this is getting pregnant, this is, you know, feeling like you are really loved by this person, because this is a very generous, the word generous person. It's interesting because there's 2 components here. This man has enough money to support you and himself and a family, okay? And he is also very good with children, okay? So he has a natural want or desire to have children. Now, this may also be someone that you meet that already has a child, okay? Because to me, he's holding out this acorn, and to me, that's the seed of a child, okay? That's the seed of a child. So this is, you know, some of you may work with children, male Aquariuses. Some of you may just be like a teacher or like maybe work in a daycare or a preschool or something like that, or you just may be very good with children. Aquarius guys, this is you in the sense that, in a way, maybe you're ready for children, you know? Especially Aquarius guys, can be really good with kids. Aquariuses are I feel like, good with kids. in general. So this could be you. I generally see it as Taurus, Capricorn, Aries, or one of the fire sign guys, but sometimes this is an Aquarius. I see this as an Aquarius male. So this coming up for you, bodes very well for finances, okay? Very, very well. Either something happens or things shift, maybe it's a new job or maybe it's a promotion financially for you. This is both male and female Aquariuses. I feel like things are going to be financially really good at the end of May for Aquarius, okay? And I say that also because, so you have this card, which is both a financial card as well as an emotional card. This is the Plenty of Fish card. And in Chinese, plenty of fish is also plenty of money, okay? So it's, to me, this is the beginning. This is the drop of promise. This is the beginning of having feelings for someone. So that's why I say, some of you, like, you're meeting Mr. Right. You know, you're getting engaged, you know, you're on your way to being engaged, at least at the very least, and this is how it shows up, like this. So that to me is, you meet someone, you come out of the cave, you meet Mr. Right, and you start to have feelings for him. Like it's just the beginning. And the drop of promise is the beginning of emotions, of feelings. It is also that drop of promise of prosperity and abundance, that it's really going to rain really hard. Now, together, the Ace of Pentacles with the King of Pentacles is an amazing combination for you financially, Aquarius. So some of you Aquariuses are going to be doing extremely well financially at the end of May. It's like whoosh, you know, you're getting all this money coming in, rolling in, you know, whether it's from an inheritance or whether it's from something you make, you know, or whether, you know, you're just working hard and you're making money, or whether this is, a lot of you are actually going to meet someone who's very well off, and they may have more money than you could possibly imagine. And, you know, it's one of those things where you gain abundance through the marriage to this person. But it's not like you're going to be marrying this person for their money, because you probably won't know to the extent of how much they have, because this is a very private person. But you'll marry this person. You will marry this person for love if you do meet a guy. And it happens to me, you're Mr. Right. I feel like you will marry him for love. There will be feelings there. It just occurred to me, because you have this Ace of Cups and all these fish, you may meet a Pisces. He may have like a Virgo sun, his ascendant or something in Pisces, or his Pisces. He may have his sun in Pisces, but ascendant or something is in Virgo, or like I said, Cap, Sagittarius, or Taurus, one of those horned beasts. But so, like I said, you know, mid-May, the next week or so, when you're probably watching this video, it may just be like a tough time for you. Okay, it may just be a really hard time. But I feel like towards the end of May, things are going to really improve. And I feel like you're going to meet someone, or just your finances are going to be really good for some of you if you don't meet someone. And I feel like there's so much light. It's going to just like, it's almost like the lights are going to get turned on. It's so much light at the end of May. And it could be that, you know, once we get into Gemini and things kind of lighten up, we're out of this drudgery of the Taurus sign. But to me, it just feels like you are free of demons. You just need to be patient and let go of these fears. Because to me, this is an old fear. The old fear of being trapped. The old fear of being alone. The old fear of being unloved or unlovable. And Aquarius, you're totally lovable. You know, Aquariuses are. They always are, you know. So, believe in yourself. And any any little whispers of you're not going to make it, ignore, okay? Any little whispers by the devil of you're going to remain alone forever, ignore, okay? Because you're done. You're done with the demons. You're done with the devil. If you're not done with the devil, it's time to be done with the devil, okay? It's time to step away from the chocolate, Aquarius. And I wink, and you know who you are, okay? And work on your diet and stick to it and be good. And that's about it. So anyways, I wish you guys the best, and be in touch. Let me know how you do. And if you'd like a private reading, feel free to email me, elizabetholson31@gmail.com. Okay, guys, thanks so much. I send you big hugs, big kisses, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Okay, take care.